Can your knife do this? A ceramic rod is really the way to go, I'm telling you. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again to Jay's Modern Bushcraft. This is part 2 of my knife sharpening videos. And again, it's going to seem like I'm working backwards here, but I just want to briefly explain why that's not true. Actually, let me just show you. So what I have here is the Lansky ceramic sharpening rod. It's a replacement for a block that they have. You set the knife, or the rod, you know, it holds two of these things, and the idea is the rod is held at an angle, and you just hold the knife vertical, and you know, it's supposed to hold the perfect angle for you. It doesn't matter to me. I like it because it's cheaper, because you're not paying for a handle. You're not paying for, you know, any of that. You're just paying for a fine Lansky quality rod without the bells and whistles. But the rod itself is quality. Okay? And the idea is you're removing metal. This is it. This is all you do, right? And you are removing metal from that blade. If you look at the rod where I've been using it, you can see that darker line. That's the metal I'm removing from this new blade. And that's why I always suggest to start with like a leather strop, and then, you know, second, if a leather strop is not enough, a ceramic rod should get the job done, unless that blade has been, you know, really damaged or really dulled or old or what have you. This is like the same thing. It goes in a Lansky block, holds it at an angle, but this is, you know, a diamond coated rod. This would remove way more metal than I need to remove on a brand new blade. Those are great if you're working with something that's very old or very damaged, but in the case of something like this, or a blade that you just lightly used for maybe the past week, completely unnecessary. There's really no need for it. So what I want to talk about is, now that we're getting away from the strop and into something that's actually removing a little bit more metal, the idea is, well, one of the most important things I should say is feeling a burr on the edge. Now, if it's a new knife, one thing I want you to understand, if you're dealing with a stainless steel knife, it's going to take a lot more work before you find or achieve that burr on the edge of the blade, okay? Stainless steel just takes a lot more work. It's much easier to learn how to sharpen knives if you're working with high carbon steel. And I want people to understand that, because it took me a long time to figure it out. I kept sharpening and sharpening and sharpening this other knife that I ordered. It's a K-bar, but it's stainless. And I spent so long trying to sharpen, and I keep watching these videos saying, you know, get a burr, and I could never get one, and I couldn't figure out why. Okay, so I'm gonna cover that a little bit in this video, just to make it clear what we're trying to achieve and how you know when you've achieved it. So right now, if I want to find out if there's a burr on this edge, you're not going to be able to tell by looking at the edge. I don't care how keen your eyes are, it's going to take feel, okay? Now imagine I'm not holding a knife. Imagine I'm holding a little hummingbird, okay? And his wing is broken, and I'm just petting his head, okay? You just want to lightly run your finger over that edge, just like it was a little baby hummingbird, okay? And you're just looking to feel a little bit of that edge catch. Right now, this edge has none. It's not catching anywhere. It's not catching near the tip. And you want to feel the whole length of the blade as well. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, what I want to do is create that burr. So a strop is more for like removing that burr, or when that burr is already gone. But I'll get, I think I've already touched on that. Here's how you create the burr, okay? You find that angle. This particular blade, you see it has a primary grind here, and then it has a micro bevel. Hold on, let me turn the camera so it can show. Okay, so you see the primary grind down to a secondary micro bevel. You see that now. It's the shiny part that's showing up on camera. Okay, that micro bevel is what you want to align your rod with. Once you have it aligned, okay, doesn't matter which way, you find out what works for you. I like to freehand sharpen, so for me, I'm just holding and I'm looking and I'm feeling. It doesn't matter if you go slow, doesn't matter if you go fast. I'm going to try to do this a little slow just so you can see my technique, but you're going to develop your own technique for this. It just happens with time. And then after a few strokes, I try to check the other side. Now I still don't feel a bevel, okay? Now because I did quite a few strokes on this side, I'm going to go to this side. And something else I want to touch on as well, which was like almost not misinformation, but people kept saying, okay, well you shave it like you're whittling, a stick with a blade. Now you can do that. But I find when you take the sharpening implement and you go with the edge like that, like sharpening as if you were whittling it, it removes the burr as it's creating it in some cases. And it makes it, not completely, I mean, once you get there, you'll be able to decide which way you like to do it. But I find if you're learning, it's easier to go away from the edge. And it will create that burr and make it easier to detect, in my opinion. Okay, now I've worked on this bevel a lot, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go to the other side, just because I don't want to only work one side until there's a bevel. Some people say you should. I don't like doing that. I like to kind of even it out. And, if I work on one side a little bit, I'm going to work on the other side a little bit. I don't exactly count my strokes or anything like that. Although if you want to, you can. It's not going to hurt anything. And you see I'm changing the way I'm sharpening. Because it doesn't matter, really. It really does not matter. All that matters is you find that correct angle. Now this is going to take a while. I can tell this edge is starting to get where I want it. Okay. I'm starting to get the burr on the edge. It actually has quite a steep micro bevel on this blade. It's one of the reasons it took me so long. I'm used to a much more acute angle, and this one is quite obtuse. Okay, so right now I'm feeling a little bit of burr right there. It's catching on my skin. From the tip actually, okay, I've all except the very end of the blade, all except for like right here. So I worked that a little bit more. Just that area where there is no burr. It might be a while before I get it there, but I don't know about you, but I like the whole length of my blade razor sharp. Now that I feel no burr on this side, okay, very perfectly smooth all the way down the edge. And then this side, it's catching my skin. I can feel it. So what I'll do then is switch to the other side. So there's 7 passes on that side, and I can tell you the burr is gone from this side. So now I'll do, like, let's say another 7 passes on this side. It's almost more feeling than it is actually using the rod. So I feel some of the burr on this side now. Now here's what I'm going to do. Since that burr keeps switching sides, there's 3 strokes, right? No more burr. On this side, no more burr. I believe I have this edge about as sharp as it's going to get. At least with just the rod before stropping. So now let's say you get done and it's like down to, because I've experienced this a lot with knives that I've been working with for a long time and I've been sharpening. When you get to the point where you take your ceramic rod and you go like this, all right, you give it a couple passes and you feel the burr on this side, on the opposite side, right? And then you go like this, do, you know, just a couple more light passes on that side, and all of a sudden the burr shifts to this side. And all right, well, let me try just 1 pass, and it still shifts. Now you know you're getting that knife to that razor edge when that one little light pass moves that burr to the other side. That's what you're looking for. That's where you want to get with your ceramic rod. Now, just some tips. Let's say you were at that point and 1 or 2 light passes is making that burr, you know, curve this way or curve that way with just a couple light strikes. What I recommend doing at that point is, instead of going away from the edge like this, if you go towards the edge, it's better at removing that burr. But I believe in that direction, moving in that direction, will remove the burr more than it will. So if, let's say for example, you did not have a leather strop, that's a very good way to get rid of the burr, align those microscopic metal fragments, you know, that keep switching sides, that is a good way to get rid of them and align that edge. But the important thing is that you follow the process of trying a strop. If a strop doesn't work, try a ceramic rod. If that's not enough, try a very fine grit diamond rod, you know? But the whole idea here is that contrary to traditional knife sharpening videos, don't start with like one of those heavy grit two-sided, cheap stones like I did. Start with proper sharpening equipment. Start with a leather strop, because in most cases that's all it's going to take to get that edge razor sharp from when, the time you buy it. If it's an older knife, well, now move on to the ceramic rod. Okay? And then, I mean, I would order both of these. If you want to get into knife sharpening, get yourself a strop, a ceramic rod, and a diamond rod, and you will have almost everything you need beyond, well, let's just say you give me a file and a diamond rod, and I can bring any edge back to life, given time. Yes, there's different grit stones and all that, but if you give me a file, and then a diamond rod, and then a ceramic rod, and then a leather strop, I will get that edge razor sharp every time, because that is really all you need. But yeah, start with the strop, then try the ceramic rod, and get yourself an edge that really is razor sharp. When it takes more than a leather strop, one of the most important things becomes finding that burr on the edge. Okay? That's one of the most important things you need to figure out. And you need to figure out what it's going to take to get there. What's it going to take to achieve that burr? Can you do it with a ceramic rod? Is it going to take a diamond rod? And if there's chips and junk missing out of that edge, is it going to take a metal file to file that edge and reprofile it? My whole approach to sharpening is practice with what's going to alter your edge the least first. Other edges, like especially if they're stainless, they might take you an hour of working at them to get that burr. So don't think you're doing it wrong if you really feel like you've got that angle correct and you're hitting that micro bevel. Don't think just because it's taking a long time that you're doing something wrong. Some steel is just harder than others, okay? But just keep at it until you get that bevel. Now, if you sit here for, an hour working at this edge like this with a ceramic rod and you're not getting a bevel on the other side, then okay, maybe it's time to switch to something like a diamond rod. Okay, but if you're going to use one of these, you start easy with it, very easy. You don't want to apply any pressure to that edge because you're just shortening the lifespan of that knife. So very, very lightly. And the second you feel that burr, bam, back to the ceramic. Smooth that out, one stroke at a time. Until you're right there again, back to the leather strop, and just finish off that edge. And you'll be able to know when it's sharp. I mean, you're going to feel it. You check all the way down that blade, check your fingernail, tip to bottom, make sure that it shaves it all along, so that's showing up properly. See where it took off my fingernail? That's how you know it's sharp, you know, and that's what you're looking for. But yeah, understand that and discover that burr if you've not been able to yet. Keep working at it. It takes time, it takes practice, but you'll get the hang of it, I promise. I hope this helps, because it took me many years to really learn how to truly get a knife as sharp as I want it.